The Corsair will be the best ship in Elite Dangerous by a mile. Not only is it a medium Gutamaya that is available without having to go through the Imperial rank grind, which in and of itself is amazing, or at least I think most people will think it's amazing. The ship comes with a low skid flight model, which supposedly it inherits from the Clipper, although that does make me scratch my head to a degree because the Clipper doesn't really have a no skid flight model. But the biggest concern I had when the Corsair came out was, is this thing going to have weapons on the nacelles like the Clipper, and as a result have absolutely terrible conversions? Now, fortunately, the answer to that question is no. All 6, and yes, this ship does come with 3 large and 3 medium hard points, so an incredibly powerful complement of hard points. All of those hard points are tightly coupled around the hull of the ship, giving it viable conversions, unlike its other Gutamaya siblings, with its wingspan hard points, which makes aiming fixed weapons incredibly difficult. So couple that with a class 7 power distributor, and I've taken the liberty of throwing up on version of it. Oop, not this one. That's fixing my RTX things. The Etsy version here. Taking the liberty of kind of sort of pseudo creating a version of the Corsair. Like the only differences are life support is 1 size smaller. I believe this should be size 4 instead of size 5. And the sensors are size 6 instead of size 8. But other than that, this pseudo Anaconda is effectively a decent representation of what the Corsair will be. So 3 medium, 3 large hard points with good convergence, class 7 power plant like the Crate Mark II, which gives plenty of juice to power those weapons while staying reasonably cold. That's equally important. Class 7 thrusters, which hint at this being on the more massive side of a medium ship, although we don't know the mass of a ship specifically. It also hints at this ship being fast, like how fast we shall see. But nevertheless, this ship will move if what we've heard so far is anything to be believed. It has a class 5 frameshift drive, which is probably one of its downsides, considering the fact that it may come in as a slightly heavier version of medium ships, but still, it's plenty enough to jump around and get where you need to be. It's just not something like the Mandalay. Don't expect 100 light year jump range from this ship. Life support doesn't matter that much. Probably the thing that I am most excited about is its class 7 power distributor. Now, this only came up to date on the Crate Mark II and Crate Phantom variants of medium ships and on Federal Gunship, all which are ships that are incredibly capable, but not without their downsides. The gunship is the slowest ship in the game, and the Crate Mark IIs have somewhat limited hard points overall, and flight model that really isn't the greatest. Crates really can't yaw. A ship that supposedly handles well with 6 medium or larger hard points and a class 7 power distributor and the power plant capacity to fuel all of this while having a truly excellent complement of internal slots is just a dream. This is going to be the best ship in Elite Dangerous. And you know me, I'm not shy from criticizing frontier developments when things aren't exactly exciting. This ship is truly, truly exciting. In fact, so much so that I will say the approach they've taken to new ships up to this point, which has been one of balance, as in, sure, let's release a great new combat ship like the Python Mark II, but let's kind of balance it off by giving it really limited internals and a somewhat sort of reasonable power distributor. And then saying, okay, let's release what is likely going to be the best explorer in the game with Mandalay, but let's give it a really small power distributor so it's not really going to be able to make the most of its flight characteristics, considering it doesn't really have that much firepower to support it. And then let's create what is arguably the best small ship in the game and one of the most fun ships in the game to fly, which is the Cobra Mark V. But let's balance it by the fact that it's still a small ship with a small power distributor. And again, it is not something that's going to power create heavy or medium combat ships as the staple of the game's combat capabilities, let alone the large ships when it comes to, say, PvE. The um, Corsair takes this whole balancing equation and throws it out of the window and says, we are now going OP. Forget balance. Let's go all in on what is effectively going to be the best combat ship in the game by a mile, and is in one shot going to obsolete the Crate Mark II. It's going to obsolete the Chieftain. It's definitely going to obsolete even the Mandalay as a medium combat vessel. It's going to obsolete all medium combat ships, I must say. I don't think there's any medium combat ship that can hold a candle to an agile, maneuverable, fast ship that has a class 7 power distributor and 6 medium or larger slots. I mean, you could argue the Python Mark II has 1 upgraded slot. So if you like going after other commanders with pacifier fragmentation cannons, then the Python Mark II would still be would have an edge in SDPS. But everything else, like from a power distributor internals, like the ability of like shielding and what, like everything else, well, we don't really know for the shields for sure. So, but for that, the jury's out. Everything else is just better on the Corsair. So I'm personally very excited to try it out. It's also actually quite interesting to see the new approach, as in let's go OP. And OP is fun. I mean, it can also be not so fun if it kind of fundamentally breaks the game in other ways. But if it makes it more interesting, well, then OP is fun in my book. So I'm excited, very much looking forward to the Corsair and what it will bring to the game, and can't wait to get my hands on it. Commander Mechan, over and out.